Moving money from country A to country B sounds simple in theory. The logistics of such a transfer, though, are actually complex. Companies handling these cash flows, called remittance transfer providers or operators, have to deal with factors like cross-border transfer fees and market regulations, not to mention hiring and paying their own staff. To address these costly factors, money transfer operators, banks, mobile operators, and post offices generate revenue by attaching fees to transfers. For people sending remittances through these services, there is a measurable cost for remitting. The price to send remittances results from two main factors: transaction fees and the foreign exchange margin. Transaction fees are a percent of the total amount sent in a transaction or a fixed amount per transfer. Sending a $200 transfer with a 10% transaction fee would result in the transfer provider collecting $20 for itself. Foreign exchange margins are a bit more complicated. In cases where a currency conversion must take place between the sender and the receiver, transfer providers will set an exchange rate between them and their customers that is higher than the current real exchange rate. This allows the provider to complete the currency conversion in the current real exchange rate and pocket the remaining amount of the money themselves. As we can see here, transfer providers typically earn more revenue from transaction fees than from the foreign exchange margin. Additionally, cash services like banks are more costly on average to remitters than digital services like mobile transfers. Let's look at a few of the global trends in this area. As of mid-2020, the global average remittance cost is 6.75% of the total remittance amount, but this falls to 5% when accounting for the relative size of the remittance flows along corridors. We also see that remittance costs vary by region. The lowest remittance cost is for those sent to South Asia at just under 5%. Conversely, sending remittances to Sub-Saharan Africa incurs the highest average costs at 8.47%. The good news is that remittance costs overall have been shrinking over the past 11 years. In 2009, just 17% of remittance corridors, or country-to-country paths along which remittances are sent, had average costs under 5%. This proportion has since grown to 34% in 2020. This is in line with the Sustainable Development Goal 10, or more specifically, Target 10C, which aims to reduce transaction costs of migrant remittances to under 3% and to eliminate any corridor with total costs higher than 5% by 2030. In the meantime, there are tools available to migrants so that they can find remittance senders offering the lowest cost to send money from their current country of residence to their country of origin. The World Bank's tool is not only straightforward, but also uses data from Remittance Prices Worldwide, an initiative that has been monitoring global remittance costs since 2008. To use the tool, just specify the sending and receiving country for a remittance. Plus, choose from the transfer amounts of $2 or $500 US. You'll then get a list of known remittance service providers. Here's an example of what one service provider's entry looks like. We can see for this provider that it only accepts cash, not electronic payments. This transfer provider is not online, so remitters must travel to the agency's location, which may incur indirect costs. For direct costs, we can see that $1.98 exchange fee is taken out, indicating a very low, less than 1% transaction fee. Finally, there is no exchange rate margin, so this provider will not make any money off currency conversions. In addition to its own database, the World Bank also certifies national remittance cost comparison databases. The bank has 12 minimum requirements to certify a national database. Some of the most important are that the sender fees and exchange rates are included for the transfer providers. Also, along each remittance corridor in a dataset, at least 60% of the service provider market must be covered. National databases keep their own country as the sole sender, and users can only choose from a variety of remittance receiving countries. This is the case with Germany's National Remittance Cost Database. The database contains over 20 banks and transfer providers, but the selection of receiving countries is just over 25. These are some of the most common countries that remittances from Germany are sent to. Check the description for a list of links to other national databases in Europe, Oceania, North America, and others. Finally, the IOM also maintains a cost comparison database. This database can be accessed through the IOM's free app for migrants. Similar to the World Bank system, just specify sending and receiving countries and enter a remittance amount. The output shown here shows how much of the remittance amount will be received in the destination in that country's currency. It also breaks down transaction fees and the exchange rate. This is a useful tool for mobile users, not to mention migrants in countries without a national database. It's clear that sending remittances in the cheapest way possible is best for remitters. The World Bank, the IOM, and many countries offer free services to compare remittance transfer providers' fees, so remitters and recipients are able to retain as much of their money as possible. Thank you for joining me once again. If you found this video useful, don't forget to share this video with anyone who could find it useful. While you're at it, why not like the video and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss an update. Until next time.